Okay, we're now talking about part two, and some of the laws and customs that the Lord had established with the children of Israel through Moses being his vessel and his mouthpiece. So we're reading in Leviticus 25 at the moment, and we're seeing how the Lord established for them to treat their land, and how they made exchanges in buying and selling their land and what their rights were. And then we're going to get to the concept of my point. In what I want you to see here is I talked to you in the earlier series about the Levites, how they were separated in out of the 12 tribes of Judah. They was the one that was separated from the other tribes to serve the higher priesthood, which was Moses and Aaron. And they were not allowed to have the same material things or monies or wealth that the other tribes had to establish themselves in their own land, their own fields, because it's just like the priests today. You know, when the Catholic priests take their vows, their oaths, they're vowing to be poor, to allow the church, to allow the people to provide, because the Lord says, you know, He will provide all of your needs. So this is a way of them remaining humble. So let's read on. It says that there is one exception: the homes of the Levites, even though in walled cities, may be redeemed at any time and must be returned to the original owners in the year of Jubilee. For the Levites will not be given farmland like the other tribes, but will receive only houses in their cities and the surrounding fields. The Levites are not permitted to sell the fields of common land surrounding their cities, for these are their permanent possession, and they must belong to no one else. If your brother becomes poor, you are responsible to help him. Invite him to live with you as a guest in your home. Fear your God and let your brother live with you, and don't charge him interest on the money you lend him. Remember, no interest, and give him what he needs at your cost. Don't try to make a profit, for I, the Lord your God, brought you out of the land of Egypt to give you the land of Canaan and to be your God. So in other words, I'm not selling anything to you, right? I gave it to you. So you need to do the same for your fellow man, your kindred. If a fellow Israelite becomes poor and sells himself to you, you must not treat him as an ordinary slave, but rather as a hired servant or as a guest. And there, thus, as I say, we get that concept of the indentured servants, okay, the poor servants, sharecroppers. This is during the time where the people would go back to the plantations and give themselves to the landowner, to the house, to the plantation, to work for them as servants, no longer slaves, because they couldn't find jobs, so on and so forth. But they were still actually slaves. They were selling themselves to be a slave again, but they could not be treated as such openly, because